All right. Again, next Wednesday is our quiz. You want to make sure you've done these 2 assignments. Do y'all see them above me here? Or, sorry, here's one of them. And then the one we got yesterday, you want to make sure you do that. So if you were not here or you haven't turned it in yet, you lost it, it's in the blue bin in the back, right? All right, well, here's a word problem, right? Whoops. So it says the world population is 8 billion people. Thanos shows up from the MCU. Wow. And he cuts the human population in half every snap of his finger that he snaps every X minutes. So what's the initial starting value in this problem? What do you think? We're talking about population. What's the current population, the initial population? 8 billion. How many zeros is billion? Let's write it. 8. 3 zeros is 1,000. 3 more zeros is 1,000,000. 3 more zeros is a billion. Okay? 8 billion with 8 with 9 zeros. Okay? That's the starting value. What is it? Is it growth or decay if we're cutting them in half? Decay, right? It's getting smaller and smaller. Right? Now, here's the question. What is the equation? So do y'all remember that the equation is of the form y equals a times b to the power of x, right? A is the y-intercept or the starting amount, b is the rate, and then x is in the exponent. So my equation would be y equals a, which is my starting value, 8 billion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 billion. And then next to that, we're going to put the rate. Now, what's the rate of change here? Just say it. It's right there. What does it say? When he snaps his fingers, what happens? Half, right? How do you write half? As a number. Maybe you know the answer. How do you write half as a number? Anybody? Huh? 1/2. Did you know that? Okay, just say it. Just say it. All right, here we go. You could also write it as 0.5. Either way, don't matter. 1/2, and then don't forget a little x in your exponent. All right, that's it. It's Friday, so for my newbies, okay, Friday's when we turn in these warm-ups. You need to make sure your name is on it. You all have the warm-up sheets. Okay, so make sure your name is on it. Make sure every day has something. So like if you missed a day, you just write absent on that day. But don't leave it blank, because blank means you lose 20 points. You know what I'm saying? Pass it to the front, and I'm going to pick them up at the front here. While you're passing that up, I'm going to pass out our little notes for today. It's not going to take too long, short and sweet. You're going to be able to graph exponential functions by hand today. Nope. All right, warm up. If you're turning that in, you just drop it in that. All right, warm up. Warm up. We're done. Top sentence is the blue. cheats, warm-up cheats. Come up. All right, you can turn in late over here, but it's fine. All right, let's talk about these notes. Here we go. All right, here we are. 2 problems. Let's talk about it. Most of this you could probably already do. The new thing today for today is that we are going to get a table and graph it. Cool. Things that you could probably already do, but there's a way to use Desmos to make your life a little easier. So let me show you. Number 1, what's the starting point? So y'all remember when we have y equals a times, oh my gosh, my pen, a times b to the power of x, right? So a, this first number is my starting point, my initial value, my y-intercept is 3, but you don't want to just put 3, it's 0, comma, 3, right? Now, what's the rate? Well, it's that number in the parentheses. The rate is 2. That's going to tell you if it's growth or decay. Now, look at this table. I know the first point has to be 3 because we just wrote the point right there. 0, comma 3, 0, comma 3. And you know what? You can plot that point on the y-axis. 0, comma 3 is right here. Put a dot. Cool. Now here's the new thing for today. Okay, here's the new thing for today. You got to be able to take this, put it into Desmos, get a table. You might already know how to do that, but in case you don't, I'm here to show you. So let's pull it up. So this equation, y equals 3 times 2 to the power of x. I'm going to type it right here. Y equals 3 parentheses 2 . All right, so everyone should be able to type it in. Y equals 3 parentheses 2, and then you press this button right here to get that exponent. Cool? Well, x goes in the exponent, you got a graph, right? Now, how do I get a table from this graph? So what you're going to click is this right here. Do y'all see this? I call it a gear. What do y'all call this? Oh my gosh. 1 second. Right here. What do y'all call this? You call it a gear? Or am I crazy? Does anyone have a different name for this thing I'm pointing to right here? Gear? Yeah? Okay. We'll call it a gear. Some might call it a, I don't know, settings. But what you're going to do is you're going to click the gear, which I'm going to draw it. I'm going to do my best. All right, mine looks more like a flower, but whatever. So you click the gear, and once you do that, then you have some options, and then you see this option off to the left here. This looks like a little table. You want to click a little table. Cool? So you click the gear icon, then you click the table icon, And again, the table icon looks like this. If you click those two, you'll see off to the left here, now I have my table based on that equation, right? So here's the difference though. My table on the worksheet starts at 0, but on the graph it starts at -2. Well, ignore that and just look right here next to 0. Next to 0 is 3. Next to 1 is 6. Next to 2 is 12. And then how do I get 3 and 4? Well, if you click right here, you can add 3, you can add 4, okay? So here's 3, it automatically gives you the y value. Click type 4, it'll automatically give you the y value. All right, so again, the new thing for today, does everyone know how to do this? You type in your equation, you click the gear, you click the table. Now I can take that table on my computer in Desmos, write it on the paper, okay? And now the next step is I want to plot those points correctly. So I got 1, 6. Go ahead and put a point at 1, 6. 2, 12. 3, 24 is off the grid, but you could still kind of guesstimate if you want. I'm not going to fit 48 on here. It's too far off, right? Do you see how these points are not in an exact straight line? They are curving. And if you also remember this, the next blank on my worksheet is that when I have an exponential function, I also have an asymptote. Go ahead and draw this. It is on the x-axis this year for Algebra 1. You'll see this dashed line I just drew on top of the x-axis going horizontally through 0. Here's how we finish this graph. You're going to connect all those dots, and remember, it does not touch the asymptote. It does not touch that dashed line. So go ahead and draw it like this. Ready? It's going down, it's curving, and it does not touch. No touchy. Does everyone see what I just did? Connect those dots right now. Go ahead and do it. Connect those dots. But it cannot touch this x-axis horizontal line, this asymptote at y equals 0. Okay? So look, make sure this does not cross this line. Okay. Alrighty. So, do y'all remember the equation for the asymptote? It's always going to be y equals 0. And then the domain, y'all might remember, is negative infinity less than x less than infinity. And then the range is always going to be 0 less than y less than infinity. And again, I say always, but I mean for this year, for you, for Algebra 1, for this class, we do not do any other types of transformations that would change that, okay? Now, is it growth or decay? What do y'all think? If my rate is greater than 1, because it's 2, and if it's going up to the right, is that growth or decay? Growth, right? So go ahead and circle growth, and sorry, you could write it in that blank, actually. All right, 1 second, let me write this in here. Growth. All right. I want to make sure everyone's got this down before we do the second one, and then I'm going to let you work. So does anyone still need this first one? Everyone's got the first one written down. Okay. All right. On the second one, right? Okay, look. I'm gonna give you 1 minute. Let's get this down. Okay. Get it down. Real quick. Real quick. If you want to try the second one on your own, be my guest. But I'm gonna go over here in just a minute. All right, here we go. Does anyone still need this? You got it? Okay, I have to do the next one. Here we go. Starting point. Again, that first number, 0, 20 is your starting point. Go ahead and put a point there at 0, 20. The rate is in the parentheses, 0.5. So remember, 0.20 is my starting point. So 0.20 is my starting point on the table, right? Now, I'm going to take that and I'm going to go over. Okay, I'm going to take that over here. So 20 and then 0.5. I'm going to hit the gear, hit the table, and there it is, right? I can fill in 3, I can fill in 4. So at 0 is 20, 1 is 10, 2 is 5, 3 is 2.5, 4 is 1.25. Okay. Then we need to graph this. So go ahead and put a point at 1, 10, 2, 5, 3, 2.5, 4, 1.25. Again, you have to kind of estimate these decimals, right? Everyone's getting this down? Don't forget the asymptote is on the x-axis at y equals 0. And then you connect these dots, these points, and do not touch, do not cross the asymptote. Cool. We said the asymptote is always y equals 0. Domain is always negative to positive infinity. The range is always 0 to infinity. And last but not least, is this growth or decay? Growth or decay? Decay? All right. Because it goes down to the right and the rate is less than 1. Okay, that's it. So what you're going to do, I'm going to pass out an assignment. It's just like this. Shouldn't take you too long. You can knock it out, but make sure you finish the ones from yesterday and the day before first.